Hello! So, nasa huling conic sections na tayo. Makikita natin na pag nag-intersect ang double right circular cone at ang plane, so may mapoform. So, ito ay hyperbola. Narito ang patunay na ang hyperbola ay talagang magagamit at mai-apply natin sa tunay na buhay. The hyperbola is the set of all points in a plane for which the difference between the distance from two fixed points is a positive constant. So the two fixed points are called foci. So anong kaibahan ng hyperbola sa ellipse? Sa ellipse, yung sum ng distances from two fixed points ay constant. Sum. Dito naman, kay hyperbola, yung difference between the distances from two fixed points is a positive constant. So, kay ellipse, yung sum. Kay hyperbola, yung difference. So, ito yun. So, itong distance na to, saka itong distance na to, pag pinag-minus mo yun, yung absolute value is equal to 2a. Sa derivation ng formula, makikita natin na ang equation ng hyperbola ay x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals 1. So, sa ellipse natin, last time, so ito, plus yan. Okay? Kaya hyperbola, one of the squared variable is negative. Kay ellipse, parehong positive. So, tingnan natin to. So, if the squared variable x is positive, ito yung hyperbola natin. It opens to the right and to the left. Pag ang squared variable y ay positive, hyperbola ay opens upward, and downward. So, tingnan natin kung sino yung positive, nandun si a squared. Okay, tandaan na, positive si x ay dito, positive si x squared. So, eto yung a. Dito, positive si y squared. So, eto yung a. Isa pa, so pag positive yung x squared, andito yung ating ano. So, pag positive yung x squared, yung transverse axis natin ay ito. So, pag positive si y squared, ito yung transverse axis natin. So, sa hyperbola, meron tayong principal axis. So, yung principal axis is aligned through the foci. So, ito yung ating hyperbola. Ito yung ating focus. At ito yung ating focus. So, yung principal axis, it is aligned through the foci. So, itong line na to, yan ang principal axis. Vertices. Vertices are 2 points on the hyperbola that lie on the principal axis. So, kung ito yung hyperbola natin, so ito yung point, dalawang point na nasa principal axis, ito. So, yan ang vertices. Dalawa na yan. Transverse axis naman, the line segment joining the two vertices. And the length of the transverse axis is 2a. So, ito yung two vertices natin. Itong segment na to, yan ang transverse axis. Ito. Pag sinabi namang conjugate axis, it is a line segment whose length is 2b and perpendicular to the transverse axis. So, ito yung segment na perpendicular to the transverse axis at kung ito ay 2a, ito naman si 2b. Okay? Foci. Siyempre, yung two fixed points, ito yung foci. Center. Pag sinabing center, the intersection of the transverse axis and the conjugate axis. So, dito, if this is the transverse axis, ito yung vertices. Dito naman, pag ito yung conjugate axis, yung 2 points, endpoints of the conjugate axis is the co-vertices. Asymptotes. The two diagonal lines passing through the center where two branches approach. So, itong dalawang diagonal lines na to, yan ang asymptotes. So, ito yung pag nag-drawing tayo ng hyperbola, dyan papalapit yung ating hyperbola, pero hindi siya magta-touch dun sa line na yan. So, ayan. So, ito yung magiging guide natin sa pag-drawing natin. Branches. So, ito yung branches. Isa, dalawa. Yung two curves. Auxiliary rectangle. So, ito yun. So, ito yung rectangle natin. So, ito yung vertices, saka yung co-vertices. Pag nag-create tayo ng rectangle, nadadaanan yung vertices at co-vertices natin, yan yung tinatawag na auxiliary rectangle. So, balikan natin yung standard equation ng hyperbola with center at 0, 0. So, ito yun. So, let's have an example. Give the coordinates of the center, foci, vertices, and asymptotes with the given equation. Sketch the graph and include these points and lines, the transverse and conjugate axes, and the auxiliary rectangle. So let us consider this. X squared over 9 minus y squared over 16 equals 1. Okay, so let us consider x squared over 9 minus y squared over 16 equals 1. So makikita natin na ang squared variable ay positive. So therefore, ang ating hyperbola ay opens to the right and to the left. X squared is positive, so our a squared equals 9 and b squared equals 16. So, a equals 3 at yung b natin ay 4. Para makuha si c, so, meron tayong c squared equals a squared plus b squared. So, we have c equals square root of a squared plus b squared. C equals square root of 9 plus 16. So, C equals square root of 25 and C equals 5. So, this is our focal distance. So, pwede na nating maigraph. So, our A is 3. So, 1, 2, 3. So, 1, 2, 3. So, ito yung ating vertices. Ang ating B ay 4. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. Ito yung ating co-vertex. Ito din. And then we can draw an auxiliary rectangle. So, dumaan yung ating auxiliary rectangle sa ating co-vertices and vertices. Then, we will draw a diagonal of the rectangle. Extend natin. So, our C is 5. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ito yung ating focus. Makikita natin na yung center ay 0, 0. Vertices natin ay 3, 0. And negative 3, 0. Ang co-vertices natin ay 0, 4, 0, negative 4. And then, ang focus is 5, 0, and negative 5, 0. Yung equation ng asymptote, equation natin ay, it is a line, so y equals mx plus b yan. So, ang b natin ay 0, so the y-intercept is 0, 0 to. So, natira ay y equals mx plus b. At rise over run, so this is rise over run. So, 4 over 3. So, 4 over 3x. Yung isa, y equals negative 4 over 3x. So, the line is sloping upward to the left. And this line is sloping upward to the right. So, makikita natin the equation of the asymptotes is positive or negative b over a. If the hyperbola opens to the right and to the left, or if the transverse axis is horizontal. So, sa number 2, so the squared variable y is positive. So, alam natin na ang hyperbola ay opens upward or downward, and the center is 0, 0. So, center is 0, 0. So, this is a squared equals 25. So, b squared equals 16. So, a equals 5, b equals 16. And c equals square root of a squared plus b squared. So, c equals square root of 25 plus 16. So, c equals square root of 41. So, c equals approximately 6.4. So, meron tayong a, b, and c. A is 5. So, y tayo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ito yung ating vertex. Ito yung isa pa. 5. So, vertices natin. So, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Ito yung co-vertex natin. So, mag-drawing tayo ng rectangle dito. Then, tatapatan lang natin yon dito sa ito. Ayan. So, drawing na tayo. So, yan yung auxiliary rectangle natin. So, let's draw the diagonal. And the focus is 6.4. So, ito yung ating transverse axis. Ito yung ating conjugate axis. So, 6.4. Ito yung 6. So, 6.4. Somewhere here is the focus. 6.4. So, dito 6.5 sa gitna. So, yan. So, ito yung focus. So, pwede na tayo mag-drawing. So, from the vertex, so, yan yung ating hyperbola. So, center is 0, 0. Vertices is 0, 5. 0, negative 5. Co-vertices natin ay 4, 0. Negative 4, 0. Focus is 0. Square root of 41. 0, negative square root of 41. Asymptotes. So, y equals mx plus b. So, ang b natin ay 0. So, kunin natin ang rise over run. So, ito yung rise. Ito yung run. So, 5 over 4 x. And y equals negative 5 over 4x. Meaning, the asymptote or the equation of the asymptotes is a over b plus or minus. The asymptotes or the equations of asymptotes is a over b x. This is plus or minus. Since this is our a, and this is our b. Okay, kung babalikan natin, ang a dito, ito ay 5. So, ito siya sa y. So, ito yung y. So, dito ka. Ang tips natin, pag positive ang squared variable x, nandito ang ating transverse axis, horizontal. Ito yung 2a, ito yung 2b. Kahit na mas maliit pa si a kaysa sa b, so, ito pa rin si transverse axis, ito si conjugate axis. So, dito naman sa isa, so, ito si y, siya yung positive. So, nandito, vertical ang ating transverse axis. The squared variable y is positive. So, nandito sa ating transverse axis, ito si 2a. At ito naman ngayon, si 2b. So, Kung nasaan yung positive, nandun si A. Okay? So, I hope na naintindihan nyo yung pag-graph ng hyperbola with center at 0, 0. Thank you.